Coming to get you, Bobber.
Haunt is a 2019 horror movie directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, and it stars Katie Stevens, Will Britton and Lauren Ailsatt McLean. This is a horror movie I probably wouldn't have ever heard of if it wasn't for Damien Maffei. He actually plays the devil character in this film. He's an active member on Killer Flicks and he's one of our friends on Facebook, and he talks to me quite a lot, which is great because he is an actor. He was the man in the mask from not Stranger Things, The Strangers Pray at Night from last year. So he's getting to become this well-known horror actor, which is great, and Haunt is his latest horror movie. On Halloween, a group of friends encounter an extreme haunted house that promises to feed on their darkest fears. The night turns deadly as they come to the horrifying realisation that some nightmares are real. The film takes place in Carbondale, Illinois. I have no idea if Carbondale is a real place, but Illinois, that's a good nod to Halloween. From the very beginning, we find out that the main character, Harper, she seems to have this abusive alcoholic boyfriend. She's got a black eye at the beginning of the movie. So we find out that she's had a fight with this guy and they seem to have broken it off in their relationship. It's set on Halloween, so as usual, her friend's trying to give her a pick-me-up and take her out for Halloween to a haunted house. Straight from the off, the movie reminded me of two horror movies. One most recently, Hellfest from 2018, with the style of the scares that they're going for in this film. But it also reminded me of Night of the Demons from 1988. It had that Night of the Demons colour palette, and some of the characters in this film reminded me of characters in Night of the Demons. In 2019, they find it hard for ways for the characters not to use their mobile phones because you're connected everywhere you go. In this film, straight from the off, they decide, let's cut that out. So they sign a waiver before getting into this extreme haunted house, and one of the waivers includes them having to give up their mobile phones and put them into a safety lockbox so they can't cheat. I see that as a great way of not being able to make contact with the outside world. Unlike Hellfest and other movies like Hellfest, Haunt sets up the execution of the story a lot better than these types of movies. I think that the execution of the storyline was excellent. There are jump scares in this film, but one thing that they do great with Haunt is the prolonged effect that you have with these jump scares. Usually when you get a jump scare in a movie, it's just there to scare you and make you jump, and that's it. But in Haunt, not only does it make you jump, it gives you this prolonged scene where nothing's really happening, but it builds you up to tell you that you're about to be scared, you're about to jump, but it just doesn't tell you when. And I think that when they make it that prolonged way, then it makes it all more satisfying when you do jump. They do that numerous times, but it was well worked and well executed. I like the fact that when you go deeper into this maze, deeper into this haunted house, the little tasks that you have to do are more extreme and more dangerous, and you get to see more characters as well throughout this haunted house. I have so many positives about this film, it is really hard to give you my negatives, but I did pick up a few. Nothing that takes me away from the movie, but I have to give some negatives as well. The bad guys, they always seemed one step ahead of everyone, and so they should, because it's their haunted house, it's their maze, so they should be that one step ahead. But because they are always one step ahead, I always felt like I was taken out of the movie because it seemed like the good guys were never going to get what they needed. They were never going to get one step ahead of the bad guys, and because of the way that it was set up, then yeah, I felt that they were always that one step ahead. One thing it started off as a negative, and I'll mention that in my negatives, is we have a classic case of characters in this. We've got the main lead, which is the final girl, we can call her without giving anything away. We'll call her the final girl. She's a sad girl, she's had a sad past, and her friends are trying to do a pick-me-up. You got the jock, who we don't know if he's going to be a good guy or a dickhead or anything like that. We've got the Joker, he's full of the jokes and we think he's going to die first. We've got the good-looking girl who's always popular and she wants to get the main girl as part of the group, etc, etc. So we've got those types of characters, but that's how we saw them within the first 10 minutes in the movie, and I straight away put that down as a negative because it was so stereotypical with what we saw maybe 20 years ago in these type of movies. However, after 10 minutes, that became a positive for me. I just thought I'd put it into my negatives just to show what could have been a negative, but it certainly wasn't. There was a backstory that I felt was maybe slightly negative as well, because it again took us out of the movie, and although it didn't serve a major purpose, it did have a purpose at the very end of the film, which again I can't spoil for you, but throughout most of this movie, some of the backstory that we got with Harper, the main character, I thought, what's the point in telling us that? It has no connection to what's happening just now, and overall it didn't have a major connection, and I think that if they left that out of the movie, you wouldn't have missed it. The boyfriend also felt like a little bit of a pointless character. There was a moment near the end of the movie where it felt like he was going to be relevant, but it turns out he just didn't really do anything, to be honest. Something that I thought was great in this was the bad guys, and again I can't give anything away because there's something that they reveal in this film. It might not be a reveal to most of you guys, but to me it felt like a bit of a reveal, because the type of person that I was thinking was going to be behind the masks turned out completely the opposite. So I don't want to give anything away with regards to the bad guys. All I can say is I can't tell you how many there are, I can't tell you what they look like, and I can't tell you why they're doing what they're doing. All I can tell you is all the bad guys were great. As of now, in 2019, I think that Haunt is probably the most surprising horror movie of the year so far. I know we've got a few months left, so that might change, but I was getting into this movie thinking it was going to be a low budget horror movie that I've seen before time and time again with the storyline that I read, but I was absolutely surprised. And then when it got to the very end of the film, if you haven't seen Haunt, guys, I absolutely recommend that you see this, especially around Halloween time. It's set at Halloween, it's got the Halloween vibe to it, and I highly recommend it. Anyway guys, thanks all for watching again, thanks for subscribing, I'll see you soon, bye bye.